Riyadh has become one of the most important battlegrounds in the global arms market, not with missiles, but with marketing, procurement politics, and industrial strategy. At the World Defense Show in Saudi Arabia, the world's top defense manufacturers show up for the same reason. This is where the next decade of Middle Eastern military modernization starts to look real. Jets roar overhead, drones dominate exhibition halls, and nearly every major supplier, from the United States to China, from Turkey to South Korea, arrives hoping to turn capability into contracts. And in 2026, the big headline isn't that China is absent. It's that China's edge is being outshined, particularly by Turkey and South Korea, right in a region where China has actually been gaining ground for years. So in this video, we're going to break down what's really happening at Riyadh's defense show, and why drones are one story, fighter jets are another, and geopolitics is the invisible hand behind it all. Because this isn't just about who builds better hardware, it's about who can sell it, sustain it, arm it, upgrade it, and politically protect it. And in the Middle East, those 5 factors can matter more than stealth coatings or thrust-to-weight ratios. China came to the show with models of major platforms, most notably the J-10CE and the J-35A, alongside the Wing Lung and Rainbow drone families that have already made real inroads across the region. But there was a critical difference in 2026. China didn't conduct live air demonstrations at the 5-day event, something it had done at a previous edition, and something competitors used to turn brochures into belief. Meanwhile, South Korea's Black Eagles aerobatic team did fly, making their first appearance at a Middle Eastern defense exhibition, using T-50B aircraft, and turning the show into a spectacle of confidence and competence. And this is where we start to see the pattern. China's presence in the Middle East arms market is real, especially in drones. But when it comes to fighter jets, the market isn't purely technical, it's political. Even SCMP's reporting from the show framed it that way. Chinese drones continue to attract buyers, but fighter jets face political challenges in the region's current landscape. So what are those political challenges? Let's unpack them, because this is the core of why Turkey and South Korea are winning mindshare in Riyadh right now. Start with drones, because this is where China has historically been strongest in export markets like the Middle East. A lot of countries wanted armed drones years before Washington was willing to sell them. In that gap, Chinese systems, like Wing Lung variants, found buyers, including major regional militaries. More broadly, multiple analyses using SIPRI-based discussions describe China as one of the most significant exporters of military UAVs, with the Wing Lung and Rainbow series as signature products. Drones also fit a specific kind of demand in the Middle East: persistent surveillance, strike capability, border security, maritime monitoring, and counterinsurgency, often with faster delivery timelines and fewer political strings than high-end Western systems. But fighter jets? Fighter jets are not just aircraft. They're alliances you can taxi. A jet purchase pulls in training pipelines, basing requirements, encryption and communication standards, weapons integration, maintenance ecosystems, and sometimes intelligence sharing relationships that can last decades. And that means countries don't just ask, "Is this jet good?" They ask, "What does this purchase do to my relationship with Washington, with Europe, with my neighbors, with sanctions risk, with interoperability?" That's one reason drones can be transactional, while fighter jets are strategic. China's J-10 family got a burst of global attention after Pakistan credited a J-10CE with downing French-made Rafales in the May 2025 India-Pakistan conflict, an episode repeatedly cited in commentary around the region. Now, we need to be careful here. Attribution in conflicts can be politically motivated, details can be contested, and public claims don't automatically equal verified performance. But whether or not every detail holds up, the marketing effect is real. Combat-tested sells. You can see a similar dynamic in how Pakistan's defense industry pushed the combat-tested label after that conflict, with Reuters reporting heightened interest from multiple countries in platforms linked to Chinese co-development and Chinese origin systems in Pakistan's inventory. Here's the catch for China. In high-end air power markets, buyers often want transparent specs, demonstrated training ecosystems, and proven long-term sustainment, areas where China's export pitch can be harder, especially when compared to Western programs that come with deep documentation, standardized processes, and long-running user communities. SCMP also noted a practical detail that matters at shows like Riyadh. China, unlike many other countries, doesn't publicly release full specifications for airborne weapons in the same way. That can be a disadvantage in a sales environment where procurement teams, especially those trying to justify purchases internally, want clear, comparable data. Turkey's rise in defense exports is one of the biggest shifts in the global arms trade of the last decade. Its drones didn't just enter markets, they reshaped them. In multiple reports and analyses, Turkey's Baykar platforms, especially the TB2, became some of the most widely exported drones in the world, partly because they offered a strong capability to cost ratio and came with fewer political restrictions than US alternatives. And Turkey didn't stop at TB2. Higher-end systems like Akıncı expanded the pitch, more payload, longer endurance, and a platform that signals tier upgrade without requiring a great power patron. At the same time, Turkey's defense export boom has become measurable at the macro level. Its defense and aviation exports reportedly crossing the $10 billion threshold in 2025, according to Turkish reporting citing official statements. Now bring this back to Riyadh. Saudi Arabia isn't just shopping. It's pursuing industrial localization and diversification, turning procurement into domestic capability, aligned with broader national strategy. That's a big part of why the World Defense Show exists in the first place. Turkey's pitch fits that mood: co-production, technology sharing, and systems that can scale quickly. And importantly, Turkey is positioned as a supplier that can sometimes operate in the gray zone between Western alignment and strategic autonomy. Not fully non-Western, not fully Western-controlled. That's a powerful middle position. If Turkey's story is about drones and flexible geopolitics, South Korea's story is about industrial trust. South Korea has been turning defense exports into a national growth strategy. Reuters has described its rapid expansion into global arms markets, and the country has publicly stated ambitions to climb into the top tier of the global defense industry by 2030. What makes South Korea especially attractive to Middle Eastern buyers is not just quality, it's delivery, sustainment, and partnership. On defense cooperation alone, Reuters previously reported an agreement between South Korea and Saudi Arabia to expand cooperation, covering areas like R&D and production frameworks, not just sales. And at the show itself, South Korea's Black Eagles flying demonstration served as a public signal. We're here, we're serious, and we bring a professional ecosystem. That matters, because the Middle East has grown increasingly sensitive to supply disruption risk, especially after the shockwaves of Ukraine, sanctions regimes, and global supply chain volatility. Buyers don't just want a platform. They want a supplier that can keep shipping parts when the world gets messy. South Korea's brand in defense is becoming reliable industrial partner. And in procurement, that reputation is worth real money. So why is China overshadowed in Riyadh? Even with strong products, put the pieces together and the answer becomes clearer. China's UAV sales story is strong, but China's high-end jet story faces headwinds in the Middle East that Turkey and South Korea, each in their own way, are navigating more smoothly. Here are the main forces, from most visible to most structural. First, political alignment and sanctions risk. High-end jet deals can expose buyers to diplomatic consequences, interoperability complications, and pressure from existing security partners. That pressure is typically lower for drones than for frontline fighters. Second, ecosystem dependency. Fighter jets lock you into training pipelines, munition supply, mission software updates, and communication standards. If a supplier can't offer or won't share certain layers of that ecosystem, buyers hesitate. Third, showmanship and confidence signals. In 2026, China didn't fly at the show, while others did. In procurement psychology, perception matters. Live demos create momentum and press. Momentum creates legitimacy. Fourth, localization and co-production politics. Saudi Arabia's strategic direction emphasizes local industry development. Suppliers that can credibly propose local assembly, maintenance hubs, or deeper industrial integration often have a competitive advantage in Riyadh's decision environment. And fifth, crowded competition at the top end. The US remains central to Gulf air power. Reuters has reported massive US-Saudi defense cooperation packages and ongoing attention around top-tier Western platforms. In that environment, China may find it easier to keep expanding in drones and mid-tier systems, while fighter jets remain the hardest category to crack. Now, a balanced view matters, because overshadowed today doesn't mean irrelevant tomorrow. There are at least 3 reasons China could still expand its footprint. 1. Drones are becoming the center of modern warfare, not a side category. In many conflicts, drones now shape tactics, ISR, and strike decisions at every level. 2. Some buyers actively want diversification, especially if they're tired of political conditions attached to Western supply chains. 3. China's broader economic relationships in infrastructure, energy, and technology can create a long-term context where defense cooperation becomes more plausible over time, even if jets are difficult in the near term. So the right way to frame this isn't China is losing. It's China is winning in categories where politics are lighter, like UAVs, but still climbing a steep hill in categories where geopolitics are heaviest, like fighter jets. The most important implication here is bigger than any single contract. The Middle East is turning into a genuinely multipolar defense marketplace. The US remains dominant at the high end. Europe remains competitive in premium niches. But Turkey and South Korea are rising as preferred suppliers because they combine credible tech with flexible partnerships, and China is increasingly a major player in drones and mid-tier systems, especially where buyers prioritize speed, cost, and reduced political friction. Riyadh's World Defense Show is effectively a live demonstration of that new order. If you want the simplest takeaway, it's this. China's drones sell because they solve urgent problems at acceptable cost, but fighter jets sell only when technology, politics, and long-term partnerships align. And right now, in Riyadh, Turkey, and South Korea are doing a better job of aligning those layers, especially in how they show up, how they partner, and how they fit into Saudi Arabia's bigger industrial ambitions. The arms market isn't just about who can build, it's about who can belong. If you found this breakdown useful, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because the defense market is changing fast, and the biggest moves often happen quietly at events like this before they hit headlines. And I want to hear from you. Is China's ceiling in the Middle East really fighter jets, or will drones and combat-tested narratives eventually push China into the top tier? Drop your take in the comments.